Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lukeness Monster, and today we're going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Black Series Force Unleashed 3-pack, which is actually a Hasbro PulseCon exclusive. Now, Hasbro PulseCon was just a few days ago, and we already have this figure in hand, which is pretty cool, but anyway, jumping into it, obviously we do have this amazing artwork here of Starkiller and the Stormtroopers on the front, obviously inspired by the cover of the game, and I absolutely love this recreation. It looks incredible, and I could not be more happy with how this turned out. Flipping around to the side, we do have the bio, as well as the Force Unleashed logo, which is pretty cool. Black Series logo at the top. The back, we have the exact same, pretty much artwork here on that side. And then one of my favorite parts here is we do have a full diagram of the characters and accessories that come in the set. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff. So I'm pretty excited to see that all of this comes with it. And it's really nice to see the diagram on the side. It's one of my favorite parts of plastic-free packaging. Anyway, taking a look at this set, it is actually a slip cover, which is quite interesting. Now, I don't know which way this is the right way the slipcover goes, but it just slides right off. And we do have the Starkiller figure right here, front and center. Now, I do believe the two Stormtroopers are on each of these sides, and we do have another version of this. This is actually the game cover, original game cover right here. It does say original artwork in the bottom. This is the original game cover, and I'm really happy they put this on here too. Really nice homage to the Force Unleashed, so pretty cool, and yeah, it's about time to get this thing out of the box. Now, of course, I will go ahead and we are going to cut the tape here. But as you can see, they're just displayed here on each side like that. So pretty cool, I guess, effect there that they did. Really like how that looks. And I do want to take a moment to appreciate how this nice background is here. It definitely reminds me of the loading screen that Force Unleashed had. So really nice homage to that as well as kind of like the background of the packaging. But real quick before we do actually get into the review, if you do want a chance to enter into our current giveaway, we're giving away an Ezra Bridger and Ahsoka Tano figure here on the channel in just a couple of days. So if you do want to enter in that before time is up, all you have to do is 1, make sure you're subbed to the channel, and then 2, comment on my Hasbro mystery box unboxing video. All you have to do is comment Ahsoka Show on that video to enter, and I'll use a random comment generator to pick the winner. But there's only a few days left, so make sure you're subbed to the channel so you don't miss out, and let's go ahead and jump right into this review. So here we have Starkiller out of the box and on the spinny stand, and this is basically the most basic look you can have for Starkiller. He has the standard lightsaber, standard default head, and for the most part, he's looking really good here. This is what the standard release, mainline release of Starkiller is going to look like later down the line, but of course, here we have the convention exclusive version, and because of that, he comes with a ton of accessories, and of course, the 2 Stormtroopers in the background. I'm not going to go over the Stormtroopers much. They are the same Stormtrooper we've seen in the line 500 times now, so they're just going to kind of sit in the background for this, but if you do want to see a full review, I do have one posted up on the channel already, so that one will be pinned in the card. But this video, we are looking at specifically Starkiller and a lot of the accessories and everything he comes with, so really excited about that. Let's go ahead and get this quote-unquote default Starkiller all loaded up with his countless accessories. And when I was saying Starkiller comes with a ton of accessories, I was not joking. Here we have all the accessories laid out, starting off with a super cool display base. It does have foot pegs that Starkiller can stand on, and it is kind of like a force jump effect, or some kind of like force slam, just to kind of show that there's some kind of effect there, which I really love. It's a nice world building piece that we don't get much of in the Black Series, so that is an awesome display stand. We also do have a force push hand, which is interesting. We'll have to see how this actually looks on the figure, but definitely one of the weaker accessories in this set, but I do really like it. But I think this down here is where this set really shines. Of course, we do have the electric hands for both hands, which is incredible, but we don't just have one lightsaber, but we have the 3 extra blades, the blue color with the red, and then of course the swooshing effects, which are looking incredible. And then some of my favorites are just the extra hands. We don't get many extra hands in the Black Series, and so to get the extra heads and the hands, it's crazy for the set, and it's what really makes this set worth picking up. So let's go ahead and kind of display Starkiller with some of these really cool accessories. And here is, I think, by far my favorite way to display Starkiller, just when I've been messing around with them. I really love this display base. I think it looks incredible with this Starkiller set. And I had to, of course, throw on the open mouth face. I think the face is great, and it really shows a lot of expression, especially when he's using that Force Lightning. I think if you're using those Force Lightning effects, you have to use the screaming face. It just looks really good. And then, of course, he does have the swooshing lightsaber effect. I really, really love that effect, and it's nice to get some more of this in the line. We only ever saw it once with Count Dooku, and it's really, really awesome to see it make a reappearance, and this set does not disappoint because it looks incredible here with Starkiller. This has got to be one of my favorite ways to display him. Now here's a close look with the Force Push effect, and I gotta say, this is definitely an interesting effect. It's very heavy on the figure though, and it makes it really hard to balance this figure, so if you're going to use a Force Push effect, you really do have to use it with the display base, because if not, you're going to have a really hard time getting Starkiller to stand up. But I think it's a pretty cool choice. It's definitely an interesting visual. I don't think it necessarily looks like a Force Push exactly, but I like what they had in mind, and it's a really cool thing that we haven't really seen before. We've never seen Force effects in the Black Series before, so it's a nice touch that they added on, and it's cool to see them do different experimenting with stuff like this, and I think it turned out pretty dang good. And I think the biggest problem here is that there's no flight stands for the Stormtroopers, so if you want them like getting shocked or flown around, you have to buy separate flight stands to do that. Anyway, next up we're going to take a look at articulation on this figure. So he does have a ball joint at the head, so great range of motion there, which it's really, really nice on a figure like this. Looking at his arms, he can get into a nice T-pose, and of course arms do go all the way around. He does have the butterfly joints in the arms, which is great, and the elbows get well past 90. Now for the hands, he does obviously have swivel. He does have a horizontal hinge on the left wrist and the normal vertical hinge. And the normal vertical hinge on the right. As far as the waist goes, he's on a ball joint. It's quite interesting though, when you twist, it like springs back to the front. Like I'm almost having trouble twisting it. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but it is on a ball joint. Looking at the legs, he can kick up about that far, which is not too bad. He can kick back. The kind of the back skirt piece here does get in the way, so he can't kick back too far. No thigh swivel. This is one of the first figures that is actually on the new thighs, so he does have, instead of a thigh swivel, he has like a new cut to where he can kind of like rotate in at the thigh, and I think it works pretty well for this figure. I don't think you need to break up that sculpt with a thigh cut. I think this works pretty well. As far as splits goes, he can get into a very big splits now due to that new form of articulation, and of course at the knees, well past 92. Looking at the ankles, he has a rocker and a normal pivot. So really solid articulation on this guy. Definitely updated with a lot of the more modern parts of articulation. So really loving this figure. He definitely stands out articulation wise. Next up, I do want to take a close look at all three of the faces. First up, we have the default face, and again, this is probably going to be the one that comes with the standard mainline release of Starkiller, but this one is by far the best. It looks incredible. The likeness to Sam Witwer is incredible, and it's definitely my favorite by far. It looks really, really nice, and you just look at it and you think that is Starkiller, because that's how good it looks. It does have a very, 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 very slight hint of the shiny face, but it's nowhere near as bad in person. I know my big studio lights here make it look a lot shinier than it really is, but it's so much better than what it used to be. I would almost consider this no shiny face. I think there's a slight hint, but like I said, it's very, 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 very little. Next up, we have this open mouth face, and this one is incredible as well. Definitely one of my favorites too. This honestly might be worth just buying that exclusive set just for this head because it is incredible. I love the expression that he has here. I think it works great when you're using any of like the force power effects, or honestly just for a normal Starkiller. I think it works out really, really well. It's something I wish they would do on more figures, is give them alternate expressions. You know, they always give them just the stand, blank, staring look, and that's very rarely what these characters look like in their games and TV shows and movies. These characters normally have facial expressions, and it's nice to see some of these facial expressions on Black Series figures like this one, so I am beyond excited we got this face, and this one is definitely one of my favorites. And then third up, we do have this face here. This one is kind of rough. I think it looks better in person, so, judge it yourself how you will, but, it's just a weird... I don't know what this facial expression is supposed to be. I don't know if this is supposed to be maybe like the Sith kind of expression, but it just doesn't look great. I don't know, he almost looks disgusted. I don't know, it's just a weird expression, and it didn't translate super well over to this figure. I really appreciate them including the extra heads, and I liked what they're trying to do with it, but this one just didn't really hit like the other two did. And then, of course, one of my favorite parts about this set are the swoosh effects, and just the fact that you can kind of put them on other characters' lightsabers. Now, some of them work, some of them don't. For example, you kind of have to like look around at some of your different Anakin sabers or Luke Skywalker sabers or even Rey sabers, because this blade fits on some of them and some of them they don't fit on. So lucky enough, I believe it does fit onto this Clone Wars Anakin blade here, and it looks really, really dang good with Anakin. You kind of have that Hayden Christensen like swinging effect, and it looks really, really good. And then something else I kind of tried here is I got the Dooku swoosh effect with the Starkiller swoosh effect, and unfortunately they are two different colors. This one's more of a deeper red. This one almost has like a clear effect to it, and so it doesn't translate great, but if you did have two of these Starkiller sets, you can make a super, super cool double bladed spinning effect, and it's just something to kind of keep in mind. I'd love to find some other ones of like, I guess Sith sabers that this would go into. I haven't really looked super hard, but if you can get a Vader with that blade, it would look really, really dang cool. But yeah, I love the swoosh effects, and I'm really glad they included them in this set. Then I also did want to do a quick comparison of these lightning effects. This one here is the Emperor, and this one is Starkiller. As you can see, Starkiller's is much more like spread out. It's also like a thicker plastic too, whereas in the Emperor is a little bit of a thinner, more malleable plastic, but it is by far a like smaller, more direct electric stream. So just to keep that in mind, I'm sure if you wanted to, these might be able to fit on the Emperor. You could always paint the hand and then give your Emperor these lightning effects if you do have like the archive version. But yeah, pretty interesting here, and I did just kind of want to show this off. Now, I did want to point this out. This is one cool detail Starkiller has, is he has a bunch of lightsaber peg holes here on his belt. Now, this is actually because, of course, he is a quote-unquote, like, Inquisitor, in the sense before Inquisitors were a real thing, but his job in the games was to go out and kill a bunch of old Jedi, and he would deliver their lightsabers back to Vader. And so I think it's pretty cool. So if you do have a lot of these like sabers that do have the peg holes, they do fit into Starkiller's belt, and if you wanted to, you could just have a like belt full of lightsabers, which would look super cool to display Starkiller with, just a bunch of those extra lightsabers on his belt. But I did kind of want to point that out because it's a pretty cool detail that I'm really glad they added onto this figure. Anyway, moving on to comparisons, we do have Starkiller next to none other than the Emperor and Darth Vader. These are the two most fitting characters to put Starkiller next to, and they're just looking great together. Really, really love this, and I think this is probably how I'm going to display him on the shelf next to Vader and the Emperor, because it just fits so well, and I really, really love how good these figures look together. And of course, here he is next to the two Stormtroopers that come in the set. Very basic Stormtroopers. I know Starkiller fights a lot of them in the games, and they look pretty great here next to him as well, so really happy how this looks as well. Starkiller also fights a ton of different Stormtroopers in the game, so we do have one of my favorite Black Series figures of all time, the Shadow Stormtrooper, on the left. Really, really glad we're getting some more Force Unleashed characters, especially like Starkiller, so now that we have characters to put him next to, like the Shadow Stormtrooper. And then, of course, Starkiller fights a ton of, like, Scout Troopers and different troopers like that, too. So here is a Scout Trooper for comparison, too. And then, last up, with the only two other Force Unleashed characters we have in the line, maybe apart from, like, the Shadow Imperial Royal Guard, which is like a 4-pack exclusive, we do have the Stormtrooper Commander on the left and the Imperial Senate Guard on the right. Looking great. I love the blue theme here between the troopers, but absolutely love the paint and weathering on the commander. I'm not a big fan of the Senate Guard. It's just super inaccurate compared to the game, and I wish they would have done him justice. So kind of disappointed on that, but he is an infantry here for Starkiller to fight, so I can't complain too much. They look great next to him, and really, really happy. Like I said, we're getting Force Unleashed figures in this line. So yeah, overall, this set is an easy 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. It's incredible. The mold for Starkiller is great. Ton of new and improved articulation. The accessories are incredible. The extra hands and the extra heads are just game changers, and I really, really hope they start to do that with more Black Series figures in the future. And of course, I just love the Force Unleashed. I have so much nostalgia for the game, so I know there's a little bit of a nostalgic bias there, but the throwback packaging was incredible. I love the inspiration to the original game cover art, and overall, this is one of the, honestly, I'm going to say it, this is the best exclusive we've ever gotten in the line. It's a little bit pricey, but you do get those 2 extra Stormtroopers, which you can never have too many Stormtroopers, so I'm not complaining, and yeah, it's awesome. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. This one is definitely in the running for best figure of the year. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.